Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday, March 23rd, and we are going to continue learning about the New Deal via remote learning. On Friday, we started learning about the New Deal. We said it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt's plan to fix the Great Depression, and I told you we were going to talk about it through the lens of the three R's: relief, recovery, and reform. And today, we're going to learn about how the New Deal provided relief during the Great Depression. And to get started, what I want you guys to do is check out this cartoon on the right-hand side of the page. You guys can press pause in the video, and we'll come back in a moment and review the cartoon together. All right, we are back now. You have unpaused or hit play on this video, and now we are looking at this cartoon. The first thing you guys probably noticed is Uncle Sam sitting in this chair. He looks harried, a little sick. He's wearing an overcoat. And the reason that Uncle Sam is sick is because that's supposed to be a symbol of Uncle Sam being in the Great Depression, the United States being in the Great Depression. If you couldn't tell it was Uncle Sam by the face, he's missing his hat. It's normally a pretty big tell. You might have noticed his pants. He's got stars, striped socks, and U.S. Uncle Sam or United States on his slippers. Next, the next big symbol you may have noticed, Franklin Delano Roosevelt is playing a doctor. He's wearing a hat that says FDR. He's got a bag that says New Deal Remedies. A remedy is a potential solution to some sort of problem. We know the New Deal is Roosevelt's plan to fix the New Deal, or to fix Roosevelt's plan to fix the Great Depression is called the New Deal. Here we have Congress as a nurse trying to help Franklin Delano Roosevelt, listening to Roosevelt say, of course, we may have to change the remedies if we don't get results. And then over here, what came out of Roosevelt's remedies bag? A bunch of different medicine. These are old medicine bottles. And the medicine bottles are New Deal programs. Now, what's the point of view of the artist with regards to this cartoon? It's that Roosevelt and Congress were going to try to fix the United States and stop the Great Depression. Get the economy recovering, help Americans. They weren't, and truthfully, they weren't exactly 100% sure on how to do that and what that would look like. And that's why Roosevelt is here saying, hey, we may have to change the remedies. We may have to do different things if we don't get results. But the cartoonist is portraying Roosevelt in a positive light as a doctor who's trying to help the United States during the Great Depression. And the United States needed help. There was a great deal of suffering that people experienced all over the United States. Here we have an excerpt from a letter from May E. Sanford from Chicago, Illinois, saying that writing a letter to Mrs. Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, while Franklin D. Roosevelt was in office, saying that may be evicted from May's home. There was an unemployment march here. You see an unemployment march here. People saying and protesting for being unemployed and asking for help. This is in Pine Street in the year 1931. In 1931, even though Herbert Hoover did say that no one was starving during the Great Depression, in fact, in 1931, 20 people died of starvation in New York City, and by 1934, more than 100 people had died of starvation in New York City. High levels of unemployment placed a great deal of stress on families across the United States. Even though divorce rates declined, there were, according to digitalhistory.com, a number of families that broke up, and actually that left children, 200,000 children, vagrant, wandering the United States looking for work or some way to improve their lives. The United States in the 1930s during the Great Depression was in shambles. The people of the United States needed relief. So what is relief? Relief is, in this case, any measure being a law, program, or an agency that help people who were affected by the Great Depression. It's just direct help to people who needed it. So people faced a variety of different problems. They may have been homeless or unemployed or hungry because they didn't have money for food. They just needed money to pay for food or to pay rent. What is relief? Well, if you're homeless, relief is a shelter or a place to stay. If you're unemployed, relief is a job. If you're hungry or don't have food, relief is food. And if you need money, relief is cash. And the New Deal provided all of these four things to people in the United States, all over the United States, who were affected. For example, we've got here from the University of Washington, people waiting online in a food bank that was purchased food and distributed it with federal money. Even more dramatic, this is Grady Watson's home. Grady Watson, according to the Library of Congress, was a person who lived in a small shack outside of Irwinville. That small shack was unsuitable for him to be living in. And when this person, Grady Watson, asked the Federal Emergency Relief Agency for help, they actually gave Grady Watson this home and enough land to farm. So these are the types of relief that the federal government provided as part of the New Deal. What you guys are going to do for the next few minutes, hopefully not too long. We don't want to spend too much time. I know you guys have a lot of other work to be doing. You have other things to take care of. So what I want you guys to do, we're going to move really quick. You're going to choose one of these two New Deal programs, the Civilian Conservation Corps or the Federal Emergency Relief Act and Agency. And there's a chart in your note page that I want you guys to complete. In that chart, you guys are going to have to provide the acronym for the New Deal program you chose. Acronym is really, and you'll notice, you may have noticed in the cartoon, the acronym is the first letter of each name in the government agency or program. So CCC for Civilian Conservation Corps, FERA for Federal Emergency Relief Act or Agency. Describe what it did. Explain explicitly how it provided relief to people during the Great Depression. And then grab some sort of image, preferably from the Library of Congress, that shows how the agency you researched provided relief or helped Americans during the Great Depression. I got a bunch of different sources here that you guys can reference and use. I have to provide the link for the Britannica FERA page, but I will in a moment. You can also use your textbook, Chapter 26, Lesson 2. The section is Help for Jobless and the Poor. There's one paragraph on each of these that will help you answer these questions, and you can do a little bit more research with any of these links here. Just to connect this to today, right now in the United States, there is a great deal of suffering that is occurring because of COVID-19, because of the coronavirus. In the last 2 weeks, unemployment has skyrocketed. The federal government is estimating, Goldman Sachs is estimating that the federal government's report on unemployment next week is going to say that more than 2 million people have applied for or unemployed as a result of COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and that's in just the last few weeks. Businesses across the United States, and especially in like New York City, for example, are cutting shifts and hours if they're not cutting jobs out altogether. And then a lot of hospitals don't have necessary supplies to help treat people with COVID-19 or to supply medical workers to help treat those that are infected with COVID-19. And right now, in part, I don't want to say it's because of the New Deal, but and something that resembles the New Deal, Congress and the President, the administration, are negotiating a relief bill to provide loans to small businesses, direct cash payments to families in need, to defer mortgage payments or college loan payments, just in case people couldn't afford to make them while they're unemployed. And then as well, finally, the government is also considering or is going to distribute aid and distribute medical supplies like ventilators and masks to hospitals or places that are providing care to people who are infected with COVID-19. And this, in a lot of ways, like the fact that the federal government is becoming so involved in providing such direct relief, is in part a legacy of the New Deal creating relief programs and agencies during the Great Depression. All right, that's going to be it for the day. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your